You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
So welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today with me I have Sharique, and Sharique and I are going to be speaking on several different topics, including coronavirus, and then I'm going to ask him a couple questions like I always do, and then he's going to ask me a couple questions, and Sharique is coming to us all the way from Germany. So welcome, Sharique.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. Thank you for having me on the show. So I am calling you right now from German city of Munich. Yeah.
And Sharique, could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Yes. Once again, thank you very much. So I am 32 years old. I'm a software engineer, and I originally come from Pakistan. And when I was 22 years old, I came from for my bachelor study to Europe. Sorry, for my master's study to Europe in Sweden, and then I came for my master's thesis and to Germany. And since 2012, I'm working as a software engineer in German city of Munich, and I have changed several cities. So I'm married and I have one son.
So, okay, just if you had to move and take 5 things with you for the exclusion of your family, what would they be?
Of course, the first thing I always think is I have to carry my passport, of course. So others, they are in my mind, my body. So I will just take my passport. I should have a phone with internet ID and my bank cards, and I'm ready to go across the world.
Well, that's interesting. And now you and I were talking earlier via Facebook Messenger about how the coronavirus is over there. I have spoken to people in the UK, and I have spoken to people obviously in the US where I'm based, but I have yet to speak to someone further than the UK. So I want you to share the facts that you shared with me this morning on Facebook
Mhm.
Messenger.
So thank you. So I will tell you about the situation about coronavirus in Germany and then other European countries. So in Germany, it started a couple of months ago in an exhibition when a Chinese a Chinese businesswoman came here, and she was already infected with coronavirus, and then 2 more people got infected, and from that point onwards, it's just starting. And at the moment, the current situation is that we have around 95,637 cases as I'm speaking now. So it's number 5 in the world. So as we know that US is topping with over 300,000. Germany has 95,000, but and that death rates are 1,395. So since almost like 1.5 months, we are having a situation of a lockdown, and we are trying to do social distances. All the universities and colleges are closed. All social activities like sports, everything is banned, and now it's getting more stricter since last 2 days. Now it's that no two people can meet outside of home. Only if they are family members, then they can meet outside. Otherwise, the states have imposed fines. So in different states of Germany, the fines have different prices, but a different amount of fine. But no two people can meet. and all the shopping malls are closed. Only very important grocery items can be bought, and pharmacies are open, and people are working from home. Yeah.
And you told me something inter- interesting, which I think they're doing in the UK, not the US, per se, not where I am in the US, but you told me that you need documentation just to go to the grocery store now.
Yeah, so now it was about Italy. So in Europe, the first country that started getting really affected was Italy. And Italy, there was a specifically a province near Milano, and there it's a very bad situation, and the total number of cases have are above 124,000, and the deaths are already 15,362, and every day 600 700 people are dying, so it's really out of control. So now people cannot go out without a paper from the government, and they are very very strict. You go out and the military is everywhere. And Germany was a bit lucky because it was around, everything was happening around 6 7 weeks, 6 7 days after Italy. So they were really taking precautionary measures. So Europe is very small. There are open borders, but now the border controls are very very strict. All the air flights, air travel between Europe and in international travel is also banned. So Germany is really taking strict measures. So that's why if you see, the infection rates in Germany is almost same as Italy, France, and other European countries, but the death rate is very less because of one of the reason could be that they are doing a lot of testing, and with lot of testing maybe they find every possible case, but the death rates is still under control. For example, Germany has at the moment 95,000 cases. France is just little bit behind with 89,000 cases, but the death rates in France is 7,500, and in Germany it's now reaching 1,400. Uh, and there is a state of panic between the people because it's just increasing and increasing every day. And it's the same in US now. It has been the really bad last 24 hours with 839 casualties till now.
Yeah. Well, it's people. We shouldn't panic about it, but where I'm at right now, they implemented the law saying that if you leave your house to go to a grocery store, go to a medical appointment, you have to wear a mask, and that's personal protective gear, and people have been doing that, but it's scary. And so, on the bright side, I'm happy to say that Germany isn't like Italy, but um, Italy's one stuck duck, you guys, because um, Italy can't see the forest for the trees right now, and I am myself in lockdown. I've been in lockdown for. I put myself in self quarantine for about a good month. I
Oh,
the last time I traveled. Now this is interesting. The last time I traveled was March 9th. Since then, I have been in lockdown. I went out the week of March 9th. It scared me
mhm.
so much that I decided to put myself in self quarantine, and that's the way it went. So
Yeah.
before social distancing and well, social distancing,
Yes.
I started it for my own sake, and then it just catapulted from from me, and it just started changing week to week to week. And now, so
Yes.
do
Mhm.
you think? Now you're in Germany, I'm in the U.S. So, do you think this? thing will be over by August.
Uh, this is interesting because I can just hope because these things are just increasing. But I will tell you that yesterday I was seeing a report from Robert Koch Institute, which is the most trustable research institute in Germany. They're saying that the daily cases of new cases have now started to decline, and it's a gradual effect of the social distancing. So this is something positive, and we hope that if this is the case, and in every day the cases start to decrease, then maybe yeah, hopefully before August things can return to normal. Let's hope for the best. And when we are talking about world leaders, I want to tell that 2 weeks ago, Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, she met her doctor, and later that evening it came to know that the doctor was coronavirus positive, and the German nation was in shock that maybe Angela Merkel also got the virus, and she put herself into self quarantine. But next 2 days, her reports came to be negative, so that was a relief. But then later we saw that even Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, also is detected positive with coronavirus. So we are just really hoping that things will get slowly back to normal. And
Yes.
other thing that we discussed earlier was that, okay, so initially there was a lot of panic. Initially, now people are accepting it, but initially there was a panic because this is something which is and has never happened in last maybe 80 years or so, and people were buying a lot of stuff. One of the things that is missing is the tissue papers, and the toilet rolls are missing.
Yep. Yep. Always, always the toilet papers are missing. Always, even
Yeah,
hard
so
on.
yesterday also I happened to go to the market. The supermarket. I could not find the toilet rolls. So but in the beginning, people were starting to store a lot of food because they were not sure that once the lockdown happens, what will happen to the supermarkets. And now, yesterday, I was talking to my friends in Italy. So everything is closed, but in the supermarkets also they have. Um, but the essentials like rice and the eatables are still there, so it's not a
Yeah.
problem. So now people have accepted, okay, the supplies are still coming. We don't need to buy a lot of stuff. But another thing is that we need to help our neighbors, especially the old people who are really dangerous for the old people, this virus. And then
And
uh,
and it's dangerous for people like myself who have a neurological disability called cerebral palsy, and um, and I am presented on the CDC list here in the U.S. And
okay.
so, of course, when I have the symptoms, then I call my doctor and then they do what they need to do. But I talked to my doctors here and I said, no, I don't have the symptoms. They go, stay home. Even even since you're at high risk, they tell me to stay home. But it's interesting because people forget about older individuals and they truly forget about the disabled. So I agree with you, Shark, that people should be checking in to the best of their abilities on the older population and on the disabled.
Yes, that is very important. First of all, I really wish that you stay healthy, and all of your friends also. So yesterday, it was by chance that I walked out, and my neighbor, she's a 85-year-old German lady, and she is disabled with both legs. And there is a social help. They are coming to drop these groceries, but they said that now they have been banned to go to the older people. And then I said, then who will help her to buy the grocery? And then you said, now we don't know who will help. Then I was really shocked. And then I told her that, okay, every 3 days I will knock and I can buy grocery and then put outside your door and you can take it later on. But I was really shocked,
well,
and this might
that,
be the case for many other people also. I'm not sure how they will get the help.
no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. I have aide who's coming in as a essential worker. I have my stepmom who's living with me, thank God. And so I am one lucky duck, but I'm not sure what the rest of the disabled population and the older population is going to do because um, and it's interesting that you mentioned your neighbor in Germany because a lot of people are not knowing about these services, and it's interesting
True.
that they're now saying, okay, you are not able to drop off groceries in Germany because they're afraid that the help would get the coronavirus. And so people need to step up. People like Zerk need, people like Sean need to step up
Yes.
and need to do social distancing for their neighbors, whether their neighbors are elderly or whether their neighbors are disabled. They need to help us because
Yes.
we can't help ourselves. And now it's getting to the point where these entities that are meant to help people with disabilities can't even help
True.
them. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day about something else, and I kept, I said to this person, I said, well, who I'm dealing with. I said, because we're on lockdown, what are we doing for the essential workers, aka the aides, and aka the patients
Mm.
who require the service? And they go, nothing. They go, they said to me, which I found really feeling, they go, the caseworkers are not allowed to come, and the county where I am, which is Pickens County in Aspen, Colorado,
Hmm.
they're providing food to those in need. And I'm like, really? Really? If you're stuck, you're not going to. If you're stuck in
Yeah.
lockdown, someone will have, like you, Zuck, will have to get the food and bring it over because it's shocking to me how little the oh don't get me started because it's shocking to me how little people
Yeah.
are taking care of the disabled and um, taking care of the elderly too.
Yes. So it's very important that we all look into our surroundings and the people who need help. Another important point I wanted to discuss was these the kids. So in Germany, actually, most of the population are living in apartments, and these apartment buildings are from 1970s, and they are not very big. They are old, and it's not like US with big houses. So over here, the problem is now both parents are used to work, and now they are at home with the kids. And for the kids, it's very new situation. It's
Yeah,
like a prison, small
yeah,
houses, no sunlight, and whole day they
yeah,
don't know what to do, and they are really getting nervous, and parents are getting nervous, and it's a very mental stress situation for the parents also. They don't know how to handle this situation. Many kids are just using a lot of television, but it's also a very terrible situation for
yeah.
the kids
It
to
is.
not go outside,
It
not
is.
meeting the
It
friends.
is. Especially, I have friends in New York, and they're in they're in an apartment, and
Yeah.
they're doing okay. They're doing okay. But it is terrifying when you're in an apartment and you have a young child. And so
Yes.
um, I think that you prove a good point, Sig, that the apartments need to be looked after. At least the towns in Germany need to have someone check in on. Now, I'm going to see a counselor. I was going to
Mm,
see a counselor after my dad died. But
mm,
also, I am thinking that maybe a counseling setup should be set up in the US or in the um, nations across the country, because nations across the country and nations
mm.
across the pond too, because we don't. You're right. It's like I am in a bigger house and an apartment, but
Yeah.
still, we got to deal with what we have to deal with. And you're in an apartment and you're packed in there like sardines with your wife and son.
Yeah. So it's really tough.
And
And
it's
then yeah.
really tough. And the only, as I was telling my stepmom, the only outside communications I'm having now are with my podcast via Zoom and via Uber conference because I
Yeah.
haven't seen people for about
Yeah.
a month and a half. So I, other than my age, but it's like, and I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay mentally, but for those who don't have the option of counseling, there is a app called um, Talkspace. Talkspace. Thank you. I almost called it Talk Help,
Hmm.
but Talkspace. And Talkspace is a app which you can do a certified counseling meeting. And I don't know how it works internationally, but I know in the US that you can download the app and get a certified counselor in your state. There is also a podcast that I mentioned a couple of times before called Therapy for
Hmm.
Black Girls, and Dr. Joyce runs that, and she also has a list of counselors state by state by state in the US because that's where she's based. And so you might want to go look at, you guys, you may want to go look at Talkspace or you may want to go look at um, Therapy for Black Girls because Joyce is a great resource. I'm not a great resource. Well, I could be, but I'm not. But you guys may want to use those
Yeah.
resources to see what you can come up with, and always ask me, and then I'll figure out something across the country, and
Yes.
so I'll figure out something internationally too if I um, have the wherewithal to figure out something internationally, because I feel like people, the number one thing they're forgetting is the elderly. The second thing they're forgetting is the disabled. The third thing they're forgetting is people's mental health in general.
Yeah, that's very, very important points you mentioned. Before we end this podcast, I want to really talk about something positive also,
Yeah,
and give a message to people. Okay, so whenever these kind of things happen, because this is something very new, so we don't know how things will work when it happened. So we were in the state of denial. Is this really happened? Okay, it's far away in China, it's not reaching us, but finally it reached. And when it reached, there was a lot of panic. And people got crazy buying stuff. You don't know how it works. Then people started dying also. Now last 24 hours are the worst in US, with a lot of casualties. But then people say, okay, this is tough, but we can survive. We can try to survive with social distancing by doing lockdown. Okay, now is the phase called accepting. Okay, we have to accept it. We have to stay indoors. And now all the problems we discussed about lockdown, but let's say we have an opportunity also because we are all indoors. That means we have a lot of time for doing something positive also, actually, instead of just being negative. Okay, when you are a young or whatever, so you have to think in this way. When this everything will be over, the world economy will be in a different state. It has a lot of negative aspects, and then there will be more strong. Everyone it will be survival of the fittest, and everybody will be struggling for getting a good job. It can be, already many companies across Europe, in US, have laid off peoples,
Yeah.
and I've heard like many people in US have already applied that they will go be jobless. So this time you can use in the lockdown for doing online courses, technical, non-technical, anything, and also some kind of hobbies, because now you're not playing, you're not going to gym, so you can find some indoor hobby. If people have houses like gardening or something, and they can also call their old friends which they have
Oh yes.
forgotten to call, yeah, in
Oh
long
yes.
long time.
You can use technology, guys. Technology doesn't hurt. You can
Yes,
also
of course.
take health classes, which I did this morning. I took a yoga class, d- social distance yoga class, and I have done it twice now. Once on the
Yeah.
East Coast, once here in Aspen, Colorado. So you can, Zerk, like you can use this time to exercising your brains. If you're not exercising your bodies, which you shouldn't be, but you can use this time to pick up a new skill. So when this thing is over, you can go back you can transfer jobs with, or go back to your job with your new
Yes.
skill.
Yes. So this is one of the things I will do my podcast on. I already did one podcast with a job coach in London today as my guest. Today, tomorrow I have a guest from Washington. So I'm also, so this is also something new, doing podcasts for me. I never did it,
I
but
know it is. I know it is.
uh, and then I started learning new stuff, in this time of lockdown. So it's also new for me, uh, and many new yeah. So that was it for now. So I think learning on new stuff, using this opportunity in a positive, creative way. And maybe some people can start writing also, in these modern days.
Yep.
Everybody is
Yep.
just
Exactly.
using the smartphones and this, and people have
Exactly.
forgot to read hard books, forgot to write. There can be a
Exactly.
lot of things. Yeah, maybe you can
Well,
add something.
I appreciate you guys for sticking with me, and I appreciate the support and download numbers. And I hope you enjoyed Zerk's episode. And yes, Zerk is safe across the pond, but I wanted to bring Zerk on because last night I was sneaking around a Facebook group meant for finding guests, and Zerk popped in and said, I need help. And I came to the rescue. And so, where can people find you if they choose to do so?
For me, if they want to reach me, my name, yeah, Sharique Javaid. You can search on Facebook, and I also have a YouTube page, Sharique Javaid. So uh, uh, and also my email is also like this, sharik.javed at Yahoo, at Gmail, whatever. And
Okay.
maybe when you share this podcast on your page, then we can add the contact details also over there.
Yes, we will.
Possible? That
Yes,
will
we
be great.
will.
That will be
That
great.
is possible. And so, yeah, we will. And so I will get those contact details from you, and then we'll make this happen. And thanks to you guys. Bye, you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.